We'll start with our blueprint update. Dr. Sampson.
Good evening, President Claggett, Dr. Townsend, members of the board. I am Joe Sampson III, Maryland Leads Grant and Blueprint Coordinator for Calvert County Public Schools. Today, my aim is to provide you a brief status update on our implementation and our next steps. The focus of today's update will be on the blueprint questions that were sent to families on the reopening plan survey to provide an update on the status of our implementation plan writing. I'll give you information on our upcoming events that are scheduled, along with reminders about our existing timeline and next steps. The survey was distributed in January and included 3 major focus questions pertaining to the Blueprint for Maryland's Future. The purpose of the questions was to establish a baseline by which we can establish plans for future communication and community engagement. The 3 questions are as follows. How familiar are you with the Blueprint for Maryland's Future and its individual pillar areas? How many live or recorded Blueprint Board of Education presentations have you seen? And how would you like to receive Blueprint information in the future? So the first question was designed to help determine the level of familiarity with the Blueprint overall and to determine stakeholder knowledge of each pillar of the Blueprint. The results show that while over 70% of respondents are at least familiar with the Blueprint, mostly in term, there's a lot of work to do in terms of increasing awareness and understanding of each area of the Blueprint. 46% of all respondents indicated they're not at all familiar with Pillar 1, and 41% of respondents were not familiar with Pillar 5 at all. And you can see the other numbers indicated there for the other pillars as well. The next question simply asked the number of Blueprint presentations respondents had seen either live or recorded. And over 50% of respondents have not seen or attended or watched a Blueprint presentation. The last question was an open response item, and respondents could list their preferred method of communication and receipt of future Blueprint information. The most common response was email, where you can see that 32% of respondents prefer to receive information through this method. The CCPS website, school newsletters, social media, and hard copies in the mail were other responses that showed up more than once, but less than 5% for each question or each comment. There were some very good suggestions in the open responses as well, a few of which our team is looking at implementing in the near future, such as digital newsletters and consideration of text messages as well. So our current progress in our implementation plan, as our steering committee continues to work to get our implementation draft completed, we shared progress with our Calvert County Blueprint Committee, which will provide feedback on our draft. When I last reported progress in January to our administrators and supervisors, we had completed 45% of the draft implementation plan. As of February 4th, we had 73% of the 164 items completed, with the majority of the remaining items being data tables. Our team hopes to have the majority of the remaining items completed by tomorrow in preparation for our LEA Technical Assistance meeting with MSDE and AIB. That's on February 17th, where we will receive feedback on our implementation plan from MSDE. So this slide indicates the types of items that are remaining by pillar. In terms of the items that still need to be completed, in Pillar 1, They're mainly items addressing how public and private providers will meet standards to receive funding. In Pillar 2 and 3, as I indicated before, it's mostly data tables related to monitoring teacher quality and diversity, and also college and career readiness projections. So regarding next steps, now we're in the home stretch in terms of our remaining timeline for this school year. As stated earlier, we shared our draft implementation plan with our steering committee and the Calvert County Blueprint Committee in preparing for our technical assistance session on February 17th. Our plan is to provide a comprehensive look at our implementation plan draft during the next board meeting on February 23rd, where the focus will be pillars 1 and 2. And again on March 9th, focusing on pillars 3 and 4, and then also adding a summary for pillar 5. We sent communication yesterday about our next scheduled town hall meeting, which is February 28th at 6:30 p.m. here at the central office. And we are also working to create informational videos for each blueprint pillar that will be posted to the CCPS website and distributed to stakeholders. And there will be an in-person session for each individual pillar during the month of March to allow community members to understand the implementation plan for each and provide feedback and ask questions. Lastly, our deadline for submission of our implementation plan is March 15th, which will be composed of our Phase 1 implementation, and we will begin planning Phase 2, which is due in March of 2024 and will consist of the following 3 years of blueprint implementation. Any questions?
First, I'd like to make a comment. It was disappointing that of all of the parents that we have in this community, only about 2,300 of them responded to the questions. And I wonder in part if it's because there were so many questions. And even the students, the number of students, it was kind of low. I'm sure the 4 of mine looked at it and thought, no way, it's way too hard. They weren't going to do it. So my apologies. I'm part of this problem, not the solution, it seems. In addition to that, I noticed that there were only 1,700 staff that also responded. It makes it hard for us to really gauge when the responses are so low. So I guess my first question is, I'm wondering, what could we do? I mean, I know it was sent an email and there were reminders, but is there something else that we could do to incentivize folks to respond? Maybe a greater explanation as to how important it is or something like that. I don't know. And then the second one is, I heard you say that you're going to submit these to, the various stakeholders and, the videos and things like that. I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to leverage, Calvert Broadcast, and ask the county commissioners if maybe this is, they do certain segments and things like that. Maybe this can be a segue into something there where we can begin to educate the public. It might be a different base of people, but it would be worth it because everybody, whether you have kids in the school system or not, if you own dirt here, it's important. So that's all. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I had a question. So are we as a school district allowed to say we are not going to be able to meet the standards or the numbers, the goals of the blueprint? And I'm thinking of the private providers for daycare. We have, I think almost every district has issues with being able to bring on board and partner with enough private providers. And then secondly, just like one of the CCR, apprenticeships, I think our number would be, we would have to go from 12 to 120 or something. I would have to find out the exact numbers from Ms. Aiken, but there's certain counties who may not be able to meet their standards, and there's, so is that what our implementation plan is going to say? We'll say we'll keep trying, but we probably won't make it?
So currently, our draft speaks to where we are, and that's what they're looking for this first phase. They want to know where we are, and then what are our plans for moving forward. Regarding the private providers, there is a waiver process that
that's
school
waiver.
districts can apply for if we don't meet that requirement. Regarding the apprenticeships, I believe we just set our goal and then determine how we're going to get there over the next several years.
Okay. All right, thanks.
And Ms. Post, to your comment about the communication and partnering with Calvert County, we have had that conversation with the Calvert County Blueprint Committee and our co-chair, Mr. Willis, and he's offered their services when we are ready to produce videos and put out communication as well.
Yeah, I think that's really great to hear. I think, I'm just going to leave it right here. I think that's really great to hear. I think it's also, we have to continually do our best to educate the folks in this community. Some because they just don't, maybe they don't have kids in the school system, so they say, it doesn't pertain to me because I don't have kids. But a lot of their tax money comes to our school system, which we are very grateful for. But it also is a sticker shock in the event that, we don't quite fully understand what the cost of this blueprint will be. It's very vast and hard to know, and I can appreciate that. But at the end of the day, when we go and ask for more money this year, and then we go back next year and ask for more money, at some point, we're gonna reach we're gonna tip the scales, and then everybody's gonna get all angsty because the commissioners are gonna have to talk about raising taxes that we certainly want, especially me. I don't need any more taxes to pay. Thank you so much. But it's going to be important so that, everybody is educated and they know, where we are. It's also important that we as a board really do our due diligence about looking at the budget to understand best where our money is being utilized and spent. So thank you for that.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Dr. Sampson.
Thank you.
Next, we will move into policies for review.